Am I the asshole for telling my wife she's not skinny? My wife, 31F, is currently upset with me, 34M, because I told her that she's not skinny. My wife loves to shop and buy clothes. I've never had a personal opinion on her style because I can barely dress myself. It's not bad at all either, so when she gives me outfit reveals I have nothing negative to say about her clothing and the way it looks on her. The other night she was showing me some of the outfits she bought and she had asked me my opinion on her body. I absolutely love my wife and I always think she looks perfect, so I tell her that. She then goes on and tells me that she isn't as skinny as she used to be when we were younger and that she's so chubby now. Then she asks me if I think she's gained weight and if I think she's in the skinny category. And I truthfully told her no. She got upset with me and seemed really offended and the mood for the rest of the night had been ruined. I tried explaining to her that I don't think not being skinny is unattractive at all and if you're not, then you're not and that's okay too. She also had our first child about 3 years ago now and I didn't expect her to stay thin and frail forever. She had been skinny her entire life and is now more mid-size, and I truthfully didn't really notice the weight gain as it was slow over time. When I did notice, I didn't really care or think differently about her because of it. I feel like an asshole now for saying no and hurting her feelings, but I didn't want to lie over a question that seemed harmless to me. Oh, dude, not the asshole, but this is a question you can't win, and I say that as a woman. It's a shitty question to ask, and if you answer it honestly, it's hurtful, and if you don't, then we know it's not honest. It's not fair. Just keep telling her that you think she's beautiful and perfect or whatever words are natural for you. Just don't use mid-size or anything to do with size. I put on more weight since meeting my husband. I think it unrealistic to make my husband answer a question I already know the answer to if it's a trap. When I show him my belly and say, "Look at how fat this is," he always laughs and tells me, "Yes, and I love it." My son also tells me how much he likes my fat belly. Kids have no filter and he even tells me he loves my double chin. At some point, as a woman, you just need to love your own body. My husband and my son loves me for me, and she should know that you love her for her. If she is unhappy with her physique, she can start exercising or doing things that would make her feel better. Not the asshole, but this is a good time to open an honest conversation about these things. Danger Will Robinson. That wasn't a question, it was a bomb. And you didn't have time to defuse it. Does my ass look fat in these? Is easy, just a simple number. Am I skinny? I have no idea what the safe response is. Sometimes the blatant truth isn't the right answer. Do you think I've gained weight? Do you think I'm skinny? Maybe answer with, "You're way sexier than the day we met," would go over well. She knows she gained weight, she wants to know you're still attracted to her. Oh, you poor guy. You're not the asshole, but that hardly matters. Not the asshole, but at 34 you'd think you'd be prepared for trick questions like this. Am I the asshole for saying my roommate's parents cannot live with us for a month? I recently moved into a 3-bedroom apartment. There are 3 of us living here, 23F, 24F, and 25F. When I was interviewing for this place, one of my roommates mentioned that her family visits, so they are around sometimes, and said nothing else. It never occurred to me that she meant they stayed in the apartment instead of a hotel, and she never explicitly said that they stayed in the apartment, much less for 2 months out of the year. I had no idea about this until my other roommate informed and told me it has been going on for years and is quite uncomfortable with the mother and specifically the father staying here. It was vaguely mentioned to me in one offhand comment, but she was never told anything at all. When I found out, I went to the property manager to discuss the specifics of our lease and the guest policy, as it is a violation and I wanted to understand the terms. We then had a conversation in person where I said the terms of the lease were acceptable, 14 nights, but nothing longer, when she mentioned that her parents typically stay for a month at a time. She said that she would honor the terms of the lease and gave us dates, but now she is lying and changing them. I am subletting for the summer, so it has been known that I will leave the apartment and then return. Based on our most recent conversation, she would not give a straight answer, and said that she was stretching out the time they would be spending, spanning a month, and that they would return to stay again a few weeks after that. The current roommate who is staying is also very upset, as the parents' visit will now span a month and a half, almost the entire summer. The other issue is that I am having trouble finding someone to sublet my apartment because of these changes. I was willing to lose a few $100s to cover the half month we were told at the beginning of the summer, but now that she has changed the dates, it will cost me at least a month or a month and a half's rent, which is now thousands of dollars. We tried to speak to her to come to a solution and she has refused. The more we have discussed, the more we are realizing that she was always planning on having them stay for longer after I left. My final word on the matter was that she has already violated the lease this term by having them stay for a month in the winter, and I do not want to evict her, but I will not lose money over this. They can come for the planned dates for 2 weeks, but no longer. The property managers are aware that this has been an ongoing issue and have offered to help. We have tried twice to have a conversation with her, threatening eviction being our last resort, but she clearly does not respect our space, money, or the lease. Am I the asshole? Edit. I saw a few comments asking about being uncomfortable with the dad staying, and the discomfort is nothing more than having someone who is older and a male in an all-female apartment sharing the only full bathroom and common spaces, etc. A mom staying is different than a dad. A few people have also asked about offering to sublet to the family. They have made no offer or indication that they would be willing to sublet. The only offer I got after threatening eviction was to pay half the month's rent if the dad ended up staying along with the mom. So fair compensation is definitely not on the table and would still force my other roommate to share the space with the family. This post was also made following a conversation where I had to bring up eviction since the boundaries we established had been crossed with no luck. But after giving the ultimatum to stick to the agreed dates or involve the property manager immediately, she has finally agreed to find another accommodation for them. Why can't her parents sublet your room for the summer? They want to visit for months. You want to rent out your room for months. It's all pretty weird, and this girl seems like a bad roommate. But this particular situation seems easy to resolve. Not the asshole. Your roommate is violating the lease, as well as boundaries you've tried to establish with her around her parents staying. After setting boundary, when a person crosses it even after agreeing to respect the boundary, the next step is to tell them what the consequence will be if they break it again. You've done that, and told them they will be evicted if they try to have their parents stay. If they don't agree to not cross that boundary again, then you're fully in your rights to make that consequence happen. Also, this would be messy, but if her parents want to stay the whole summer, why don't they pay to sublet your room to make their stay legal? Not the asshole. It is frankly bizarre for someone in a shared apartment to expect to be able to bring in extra people without the consent of the other roommates, and often, as in your case, in violation of the lease. Usually, the problem is a boy or girlfriend who spends far too much time visiting, but with parents you've got twice the problem. It sounds like your roommate has gotten away with this for years, and so assumes that it's fine. You know it's not because you can't find a subletter who's willing to accept those terms and you aren't willing to do so yourself. I'd say the only solution you have is to either arrange with the management to break your lease, or to evict her for breaking the terms of the lease. Not the asshole. She's taking the piss. You signed up for flatmates, not her mom and dad moving in like it's a B&B. Stick to the lease. If she stays, lock your room if you can't sublet it. Sounds like she's eyeing your bed for her parents' kip. Proper dodgy. Not the asshole. I would take the property managers up on their offer. You may want to seek legal advice, also. I don't understand how she's getting away with it if the property managers are aware. Not the asshole. And good for you for standing up for yourself and following the lease. Your roommate's bait and switch is deplorable. You'll likely be besmirched as the bad guy since you're the newbie. Your roommate is just a bully. Am I the asshole for expecting to get what I had asked for my 30th birthday? It was my 30th birthday last month. Prior to this, my girlfriend asked me what I wanted from her, and I said I'd like a small get-together of just a few close family and friends. There's a bar near us that lets you book the place out for free if you have at least 15 people, as it's a small place, so I mentioned possibly going there. My birthday came and I got nothing like that. I got a card and a couple of little gifts, 2 gift cards and a book, for my girlfriend, but no gathering or any sort of celebration. I was upset at this and my girlfriend asked me why I was upset and I explained it to her. She said it would have been a hassle trying to get everyone together and would have took a lot of work to organize. I told her she knew how much it would have meant to me and that she literally asked what I wanted from her and then chose to ignore it. I said it hurts hearing her say I'm basically not worth the effort. She said I should have done it myself then, but I pointed out you don't organize your own birthday party and she is the one who asked me what I wanted from her. She said I was trying to guilt trip her, but I told her I was just expressing how I felt about it. She said I was being too unfair and that I should be happy with what I got. I told her she doesn't get to tell me when I can and can't be upset, and that it obviously hurts knowing your partner doesn't care enough to even try to organize what I wanted for my birthday. She again said I was guilt-tripping her and deliberately trying to make her feel bad. Am I the asshole for expressing my upset that she'd ignored what I'd asked from her for my birthday? Esh. She is an asshole for agreeing to plan the gathering and then just not doing it without telling you. You're an asshole for saying, you don't organize your own birthday party. Maybe that's true when you're a child. But adults organize their own birthday parties all the time. Who would organize it if you were single? Definitely seems like you were guilt-tripping her, instead of communicating how you felt. ETA. Not the asshole with the context that she agreed to the original request. Info. What was her response when you originally asked for her to organize the gathering? Not the asshole. Why ask if you're going to ignore it? And since when is inviting friends to an easily booked venue such a hassle? It's always funny watching someone asking if they're the as if they were actually open for different answers and then passive-aggressively arguing everyone not agreeing with his side of things. I'm going with Esh. Yes, adults do organize their own parties, even when they're in a relationship. It's kind of common. Also, the girlfriend should have communicated more clearly. But I do think we have a case of unreliable narrator, just judging by his comments and the absolute need to be right. You do, actually, organize your own birthday party when you're an adult. But still, Esh. I'm not a big birthday guy, but this seems really low effort for a milestone birthday. Am I the asshole for going off on a mother for bringing her kid to a freestyle skate session? Hello Reddit. So I'm 20F, a figure skater. For those who don't know, freestyle skating sessions are for figure skaters to safely practice, since public sessions are too crowded and my rink doesn't allow figure skating moves to be done during public sessions. My rink has you pay for the session online, where it very clearly says that this is for figure skaters to practice on. However, there isn't any verification on the website, so technically anyone could buy it. Anyway, yesterday I went to one of these sessions and saw a woman and her son, who I guess is about 7 or 8, enter and go get rentals for the kid. I didn't think much of it, and just assumed that he was just starting out and they haven't gotten skates yet, plus I've seen other beginners use rentals, so it's not a huge deal. Once we get onto the ice, however, this kid starts doing circles around the rink super fast, and every time he passes his mom yells, "Mom, look." His mom was sitting in the bleachers on her phone. After I guess he got bored of that, he starts skating wherever he pleases, often getting in the way of other people. Some of the coaches told him to slow down, but he didn't really care. Well, the issue began when I started doing my program. For those who don't know, when someone runs their program during a practice session, they wear a yellow belt and they basically have the right of way in the rink. You can still skate, but if they come towards you, you have to get out of the way. Well, I'm wearing the belt and I start my program and everything is going fine until my first jump. While I'm mid-air, this kid crashes straight into me and we both fall. I ended up hurting my knee, but the kid seemed fine. Maybe a few bruises. He starts wailing like he's being stabbed, and his mother finally looks up from her phone and runs onto the ice. No ice skates, just regular shoes. And starts berating me in front of everyone for hurting her son. I was super pissed about being interrupted and getting hurt because of this kid and start yelling back that he should learn the etiquette of being on a freestyle session. After this, a coach comes up to her and says that they need to leave because her son is a hazard to himself and others. Before this, he also crashed into people doing spins and other things. The mom then yells, but public sessions are too crowded. He can't have fun on them. So she basically admitted that she was planning to use this time for her kid to run wild. The coach later came up to me and said that I was right to be upset, but I should have let her handle it and not yelled at them. So, as I talk? After this, a coach comes up to her and says that they need to leave because her son is a hazard to himself and others. Before this, he also crashed into people doing spins and other things. The coach later came up to me and said that I was right to be upset, but I should have let her handle it and not yelled at them. Not the asshole. If the coach was going to handle it, they should have done so when he was crashing into people who weren't airborne. You had no way to know they were going to intervene since they couldn't be bothered until you started yelling back. Info. The coach later came up to me and said that I was right to be upset, but I should have let her handle it and not yelled at them. Are you asking us if you were being an asshole to the mom, kid, or an asshole to the coach? Not the asshole, and if your coach was so concerned about handling the situation, she and other coaches should have handled it before it got out of hand. The kid shouldn't have been there. He injured you. You have every right to be pissed at her. You were injured, even if it wasn't serious, and that can impact your training for a while. The coach was obviously trying to make it seem like you were partly at fault, so if you complain it'll be treated less seriously. I'd be talking to the management about the fact they allowed an undisciplined child to enter a paid-for training session. He wasn't a beginner learning to skate for competition. He was a typical child going mad on the ice because it's fun. I'd have been yelling at the mom too. Ice skating is dangerous and accidents can cause serious injury. The coach is the a-hole if the child had already disrupted other people's training. It sounds like they only stepped in when you actually went mad at the mom. So the rink staff just let this random kid and his mother in during a freestyle session? In my old rink, you had to be registered to one of the coaches or approved by the rink to attend free skate. This is on the mom and the rink. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. She's using the freestyle skate sessions for her child to act like an animal because her child couldn't do that in the public sessions, which resulted in you getting hurt. The mom is an idiot.